clear with a high of 22 degrees and a low of 11. Xiamen, cloudy with a high of 18 and a low of 9 degrees. Taipei will be rainy with a high of 18 and a low of 14. Sunshine, cloudy, high of 26 and a low of 23 degrees. Time for a short break, still to come. In business, China to further investigate Bitcoin exchanges. In sports, Celta Vigo knocked Real Madrid out of the quarterfinals of the Copa del Rey. In entertainment, a record number of actors nominated at the Oscars. All that and more in the next 30 minutes. Stay with us here on the Beijing Hour. Everything in focus, all in one place. China Plus focuses on the Middle Kingdom, bringing you breaking news and stories that matter to you from both inside and outside the country.
Search the App Store or Google Play for China Plus.
Examining the events that impact and shape China and the rest of the world. This is the Beijing Hour, 1 hour of news and information brought to you by China Radio International.
Bob Jones with you this Thursday. In the second half of our program, in business, Apple sues Qualcomm in China for 1 billion yuan in damages. In sports, China's Heng Shuai reaches the doubles final at the Australian Open, and in entertainment, the China Central Television Spring Festival Gala, like 2017 highlights of the news. All that and more to come in the next 30 minutes, but first let's take a look at the latest headline news with Wu Zhenghuang.
Thank you, Bob. The Chinese president has called for building a strong military by further pushing for reform and governing the military according to law. Xi Jinping, who is also chairman of the Central Military Commission, has underscored the importance of improving combat readiness through troop training. The president made comments on Monday while visiting the 65th Army Group stationed in Hebei province. China has released a new comprehensive list of troops that can't be exported to North Korea. This comes amid mounting speculation of an expected test by North Korea of an intercontinental ballistic missile that might be able to reach the west coast of the United States. The list includes many dual-use items that could be used to build...
Testing the Grundig G5 on China Radio International. This signal on 9580 is via Cuba. And now the same signal on the Tecsun PL680. The one is because it is a little off in frequency, but it's the same signal. China Radio International via Cuba on the Tecsun PL680 now.
In September, a hotel chain in Japan has pledged to withdraw the right-wing booth in its reception room for athletes of the 8th Asian Winter Games in Sapporo. The organizing committee of the 2017 Games says it will check all the rooms before the games start to confirm all the booths have been removed. Athletes from China and South Korea will be accommodated in the hotel. The right-wing booths found in the hotel rooms carry content that denies Japanese history of aggression, including the 1937 Nanjing Massacre and the forced recruitment of convict women before and during World War II. The British Prime Minister Theresa May is trying to meet new US President Donald Trump in Washington in the hope of reinvigorating the two countries' special relationship. May, the first foreign leader to visit Trump, is hoping to forge even closer ties with the US so it can lead the European Union. It's believed the topics of discussions will include two countries' future trade relations, the importance of North Atlantic Treaty Organization, and the Syrian conflict. Rescuers have recovered small bodies from the rubble of a hotel in Italy crushed by an avalanche. There were now 23 confirmed deaths following the disaster at the Hotel Rigopiano on January 18th. Earlier, an emergency helicopter slammed into a mountainside, leaving 6 people dead, including 3 rescue crew members. Search operations are still underway. Now back to Bob.
Hey, John Brown, thanks very much. It's coming up to 34 minutes past the hour. Turning to business news, we'll start by taking a look at the closing numbers in North America and Europe. US stocks extended gains on Wednesday as investors digested a batch of generally positive corporate earnings reports. The Dow Jones closed above the 20,000 milestone for the first time ever. Before Wednesday's opening bell, the Boeing company announced fourth quarter revenue of $23.3 billion US. Shares of the aircraft maker surged 4.24% to $167.36 US apiece Wednesday, following the release of the company's strong quarterly results. United Technologies also posted quarterly profits and revenue Wednesday, roughly in line with Wall Street expectations. The latest data from Tecsun shows that S&P 500 companies' blended earnings in the fourth quarter of 2016 are expected to rise 6.8% year-on-year.
So once again, we are testing the Tecsun PL680 with my good old friend, the Grundig G5, and which is much older, but still an amazing receiver with China Radio International via Cuba on 9580 kilohertz.
1%. European markets finished broadly higher on Wednesday, with shares in Germany leading the region. At the close, the FTSE 100 in London jumped 0.2%. France's CAC 40 gained 1%, while in Germany, the DAX added 1.8%. Apple has filed a lawsuit against Qualcomm in Beijing, alleging the chip supplier abused its influence in the chip industry and is seeking 1 billion yuan in damages. Apple also filed a second lawsuit against Qualcomm, which accused it of failing to live up to promises made to license standard essential patents broadly and inexpensively. The lawsuits follow a decision by the US Federal Trade Commission to file a complaint on January the 17th, in which it accused Qualcomm of using anti-competitive tactics to maintain its monopoly of a key semiconductor used in mobile phones. Apple followed with a related lawsuit last Friday. It asked a federal court in California for $1 billion in promised rebates and accused Qualcomm of overcharging for chips. Qualcomm is a major supplier to both Apple and Samsung Electronics for modem chips that connect phones to wireless networks. The two companies together accounted for 40% of Qualcomm's $23.5 billion in revenue in its most recent fiscal year. A recent report shows Chinese mainland outbound investment in commercial and residential property reached $33 billion last year. The figure represents a growth of 53% from a year earlier. Investments in land, office buildings and hotels accounted for 90% of the overall outbound property investments over the past 3 years. For more on this, we're joined by CNN's financial analyst, Tecsun. Thanks for joining us. I'll ask you first, will the surge in outbound investment have any effect on the domestic real estate market?
Well, this is minimal. If you look at the size of outbound investment in real estate, accounts for a tiny percentage of the overall domestic real estate market. Because the domestic market is gigantic in terms of its value. So any outbound investment is a job in basket. And I think even though there might be some people who are swapping the domestic holdings in real estate for foreign holdings, they account for only the vast majority.
Back to the Tecsun PL680.
Individuals who have the extra money to invest in overseas markets, so it really has a very little effect on the domestic market.
The report also says that Hong Kong, Australia and Malaysia are the most popular destinations for Chinese mainland investors. What makes these places in particular so attractive to Chinese investors?
Well, I think the Chinese investors have a strong and long history of investing in these areas. For instance, Hong Kong has very close proximity to China. Australia has very good climate, very good we have traditionally been a destination for Chinese immigrants, and whenever you have a big portion of Chinese, huge number of Chinese immigrants, they tend to bring along with their assets as well.
Are there any risks or uncertainties that investors should pay attention to if they're making investment decisions?
Yes. For instance, they should pay attention to the political risk in the destination state. Will their assets be protected by local government? They also should pay attention to inventory risk. At this point, yuan is expected to fully appreciate So it works to what each plant can turn around.
And now we go back to the Grundig G5 portable receiver on China Radio International from Cuba.
You need to pay attention to how difficult it is to send the money overseas because the state administration of foreign exchange can impose control on how much the foreign exchange is able to get and the use of those foreign exchange. So these are the details that need to be paid attention to.
So despite some of those problems, there are people who are saying that Chinese mainland capital is likely to continue to play a significant role in global coffee market in the next few years. And do you think that's a fair comment?
It could. It certainly has the capacity the regulatory decision that was made by foreign exchange. They want to stop the capital outright. Then that capacity will be restricted. But if capital the Chinese capital will continue to have a major impact on global property markets.
So thank you very much. Tecsun, CIO's comment on the news. China's central bank has said has not introduced any quota or ratio restrictions on cross-border renminbi receipts and payments which comply with current rules. Meanwhile, the People's Bank of China said it will continue to monitor cross-border capital flows and financial institutions examine the authenticity of transactions more closely and ensure their compliance with current rules. The bank said it will also urge financial institutions to improve financial services to promote healthy development of cross-border.
So what do you think? What's the best receiver in here? 9580 kilohertz, China Radio International at 0140 UTC from Cuba. What's the best receiver? The Tecsun PL 680 or the Grundig G5? Give me your opinion on that. I'd like to know. Overall, the sound quality once again here is better. Reception is good on both. But what do you think? If you like my videos, hey, subscribe to my channel. Why not give me a thumbs up, please? Let's give massive thumbs up to all my videos. It helps a lot. And thank you so much for following me. And hope you're enjoying this series of videos comparing the Grundig G5, a good old friend of mine, with a more modern Tecsun PL 680.